Welcome back to part 2 of the Oliver Hazard Perry engine room tour. I'm Jackson Hruschka. Let's get started. Another thing that we have is this. I call this the diesel tornado, but it is a fuel oil polisher. And what this specific thing does is polishes the fuel oil, in our case diesel. So this has a driver pump down here, and it goes into this, which is a centripetal separator filter. So inside are a series of cones, and the diesel comes in the top. And the cones inside of this are spinning around at about 20,000 RPM. And it spins so fast that everything is flung to the outside from centrifugal force. And what happens is you put water into this system first through a valve on the top. This goes in, you fill this with water, and it flows into it, and then it creates what's known as a water bearing to us in the engineering world. A water bearing is going to be when all the water has an equal layer on the outside of this bowl, and you'd be able to see it because it's spinning around so fast that the water is all flung to the outside, and so there's this thin layer of water. And diesel is lighter than water, so when the diesel gets pumped in, it is a ball inside of the water because it's lighter, so it's not flung through the water, but any water droplets, molecules, or any debris that's heavier than the diesel gets flung into the water, and then it goes out. The diesel is then pulled through a 50 micron screen at the bottom of it, so it's constantly going through, and you have this sort of tornado of diesel as it takes the water out and cleans it up. It's a very cool device. Other things that we have back there is our air tank. That is a Quincy system for our air brakes. On our two propeller shafts, we have these very, very big brakes in case we need to stop moving very quickly. So are the Logan clutches for our power takeoff system. As you can see, we've got this air feed right here, goes into this filter. How do we see everything from the generator? Well, everything that we need to monitor is right here. How many watts it's putting out, how many amps it's putting out, and our volts and our hertz, for our frequency, everything is right here. Our engines are 4-stroke diesels, and that means that you need a transmission to go from forward to reverse. So we have a hydraulically controlled transmission that allows us to change the direction of the propeller while in motion. Now, continuing on in this tour, as I mentioned, it's always a tight squeeze getting through here, but it's better than other people. In this area, we have our diesel transfer station. As you can see, we have our intake and our output manifolds. This allows us to take diesel from one of our holding tanks, either our wing tanks or our day tanks, and transfer them into the other day tanks or wing tanks. This also allows us to decide which of the tanks are we going to be pulling diesel from when we're underway, or when running the fuel polisher. This allows us to polish our fuel when we're sitting at rest. And then this is the system that turns on our main engines. We have dedicated systems for each of our engines. These turn them on and off, and it's an easy switch of a button. We also have our battery chargers. These tend to the batteries for our generators and our motors. Thanks for joining me. This has been part 2 of the tour of the Oliver Hazard Perry engine room. I'm Jackson Hruschka. Don't forget to join us for part 3. Thank you very much. Bye.